To be the best motivational speaker,
Got it.
must you hypnotize the people listening to you?
Well, so a motivational speaker is anyone that has someone else elevated to an excitable level that has them at least feeling, if not taking new action, feeling like taking new actions. The challenge with just being motivated is it's always short-lived. Until that belief is replaced, that's keeping them stopped and stuck before. And sometimes it's just by doing the fear-based conversation. Case in point. So does it have to be hypnosis? No. Commit to do what you fear most and your fear will disappear.
Why does speaking it or faking it till you make it transfer to making it and becoming that success?
Great.
How does that happen?
Great question. So it happens over time because of full awareness influence. Any I and I am statements are directed by the command on your subconscious mind. So you have to say it in the right frame.
Like, I love speaking.
Yeah.
I'm not wired to do anything else.
Yeah.
So I love trying cases. But what about that CPA? Like most people, their fear of death and taxes and public speaking.
Yeah.
I think it's number 2.
Yeah.
How do you transform them into getting rid of that fear
Which fear?
of public speaking?
Oh, cool. So I do it.
So because they've got a reason, they've got a great story, they've got a passion. This happened to me. I know I can change others' lives, but I'm scared as hell to get up on that stage. How do you change that?
I am going to literally give advice right now that people have literally paid me $5,000 for right now to those speakers already existing and about to. So that's called stage fright, just before they get on. Now, some people have been doing it for a while, and so it's still there, but it doesn't like keep them stuck. Other people are like, man, I can't even get on there yet because that's there. And so this is the advice. This is it. The reason why.
My guest is Will Duquette, an international keynote speaker, coach, mentor, master hypnotist. That's the cool thing about this. This is a motivational speaker that can also hypnotize. With more than 27 years of experience helping people pursue their personal and professional success. We're going to look at what that is and how he does what he does. We're also going to ask him to tell us about the industry, what's good, what's bad. According to his biography, Will built his first $1 million business through real estate investing and has spoken around the world, appearing at venues including London's O2 Arena and sharing stages with many well-known entrepreneurs, celebrities, and speakers. What I really want to know today, though, is what this profession is really like. What does a motivational speaker really do? How much of success comes from motivation versus your skill, discipline, timing, and luck? What separates a legitimate coach from a charismatic salesperson? He's very charismatic. And what role does hypnosis actually play in helping people change their lives? My goal is not to attack the profession or even promote it. I just want to understand it, and I hope you do too. So today's interview episode is called What's It Like to Be a Personal Motivation Speaker and Hypnotist? What's it like?
Well, it's pretty phenomenal.
In what way?
So what it's like, you asked me this before, and the thing I answered, I'm going to answer again, and it's a huge responsibility. It's an enormous responsibility because when I'm speaking to an audience of people, they're entrusting that the words coming out of my mouth is for their betterment, not mine. And that's what I think is really going to set somebody apart from being just a person who gets on stage and speaks and doesn't waste somebody's time for an hour or 2 or 3 days or however long they're speaking. And what you're conveying to them is going to enrich their lives. And if it does, then that's great. And if it doesn't, then that's not so good, right? Because as we talk about hypnosis here in a while, we'll get into it deep if you want, as deep as you want to get. I'll show you where the good, the bad, and the ugly is in all of that, and in history where that actually has been gone very south, very bad.
Before you became Will Duquette, I love that, by the way,
Thank you.
Will. Who were you?
I was little Billy. Little Billy grew up with his mom, a single mom, 3 sisters, only male since my grandfather had to wear hand-me-down clothing. Do the math on that. I'm the only male since my grandfather. So I grew up in the projects poor. I grew up with the mentality and the belief structure around, you got to work hard to get ahead, got to go to school to get a good education. We didn't have any money to go to college, so I'm going to do that. I wasn't very smart. I got C's and D's in school. Had all kinds of challenges as a young boy, and really never expected to live past 30, to be very, very honest.
Why?
I just was very reckless, and quite frankly, I didn't want to live. And so when I hear stuff today about children having those thoughts, that hits me deep, because the reality of it is I used to have them thoughts. And
at what age did you turn it around where success rather than suicide was more important?
Well, it was a journey and a process. It wasn't a one thing like hypnosis. You do a hypnosis show in an instant, you can actually transfer beliefs and start new behaviors. For me, it was stepping stones. So first I lived past 30, and that's when I said, hey, well, maybe God has a reason for me to be alive. I should do something. And then that's when I went out and figured, well, if I get rich, I'll be happy. This feeling of despair and,
Did you get rich?
This is the best we can do, and this is all that's going to happen. So I go out and I learn real estate investing. A year and a half later, I made my first $1 million. Now I make all this money, and I was about 37, I think, then.
Okay.
So now I've got all this money, and now I just have one more reason for people not to like me, because now I'm a rich a-hole. And I'm like, well, this is not the way it was supposed to work out.
How did you then become a motivational speaker?
So great.
And why?
So that is the catalyst to where now I'm going, okay, now I'm rich. I got my bills paid. I don't have to worry about what I call the rat race. Most people are too busy working to really step into their greatness, and that's what I'm really, really good at, is helping people see their own greatness, step into their own greatness, and reprogram their subconscious mind so they can start living their purpose and passion in life and their greatness. And so first, you have to get financially free, get rid of that burden of how am I going to pay my bills? I got to go and just be in the rat race. So once I'm out of the rat race, and I've done this for thousands of students, successful students I've had do the same thing. And there's a process to where when you finally can get up in the morning, like I did this morning, and do whatever you want to do. I can do whatever I want. I get up, do what you want. Go play pickleball. So I do that. And so then it becomes, you get to breathe and slow down. It's okay. So what's important to me? So I went out, I got rich, I got all this money, and I don't have to do anything I don't want to. I don't have to work with people if I don't want to work with them. I didn't have to deal with people if I didn't want to deal with them. And so now what am I going to, and I still wasn't happy. I was in bad relationships. I was overweight. I'm thinking, great, now I'm in my 40s, I'm successful, and I'm going to die of a heart attack. Like, what? This is not, and then people don't like me, and I don't like them either. So it was me just going, so I learned real estate investing by the non-conventional ways of buying books, tapes, courses, and seminars, traveled around the United States. And then at one of those, I met a hypnotist who trained me. He got on stage and he shared about how you can actually live powerfully and be happy and love your life, and things that I thought was a pipe dream. Never thought, what do you mean? People
was
don't
this
really live
before,
like
that. As I heard you say earlier, God was the source of your happiness? Was this your search?
That was prior, right? Yes, yeah. So that was prior. So I met him and said, well, hey, that's called basically personal development, right? So I wasn't.
What does that mean?
Personal development is like me personally developing my inner self to be authentically happy, because everybody's like, oh yeah, everything's great, I'm happy. Did you go home by yourself and sit there and with your thoughts and have all these challenging thoughts? Well, I really am authentically. I love who I am, and I love who I become, and I love who I am for the world and for other people. And so most people will never get there. They never even feel that way.
So the hypnotist that you met, was that before you became a motivational speaker?
Correct. Yep. So I just made money in real estate. I was a bartender for many years. I got fired, so I went into get my own business, started my own lawn care service. Then the lawn care service went into, oh, well, I want to be wealthy now. I'm taking care of my own income, but I want to be wealthy. Got into real estate investing, made my first $1 million, and then still challenged with, okay, but I'm still not authentically happy. And so that's how I get into personal development growth. That was the first seminar I bought, and I went around finding spiritual gurus, and I went into trying to read the Bible and being around churches, many different churches, and just anywhere I could find inner authentic peace. A subconscious mind is like a program. So if you take a computer and you program it to do something, you create a program and just hit click, it just does the program. It just does it. It doesn't question it. It just does the belief. It just believes that to be true. So we have beliefs that are running us. Like, don't trust strangers, right? Don't talk to strangers. People will rip you off. Sales are bad and ugly, and salesmen rip people, like all those beliefs we have. And then we're taught these things. We go out to try to be successful, and we don't want to get sold something. We don't want to be pigeon-toed into a salesman, right? And we don't want to talk to strangers. Well, how are you going to make money if you don't find strangers, right? So all these beliefs that are running us on a subconscious level is what keeps people stopped and stuck at a certain level until you can unlock and see which beliefs don't serve you in all areas, your mind, body, relationships, spiritually, financially. So when you find out these beliefs, okay, case in point, a big one for me, when I first started doing real estate investing, I'm learning. Most people don't need more how-tos. They need to be able to implement and take action on those how-tos. You can go buy how-to information everywhere. Well, how do I go do that real estate investing thing? I remember we had a script where I had to talk to sellers on the phone, potential real estate sellers. And the questions I would go through, I was a bartender for 17 years. I'm used to talking to strangers, so I'm kind of over that. But then I got to a question on there where it said, ask them about their finances. Are they behind in payments? How much do they owe? When it came to the topic of money back then, that was a belief that was keeping me stuck. Because I remember I wouldn't answer my phones. I didn't want to talk to the phone. So I went through the script line by line. I can ask their name. I can ask their address. I can ask this. But then yet, when it comes to me saying, are you behind in payments? I'm like, oh, I literally could feel me getting smacked in the back of the head by my parents and adults back then. You don't talk about people's finances. You don't, if they have a financial problem, you definitely don't, right? All these beliefs that were running me because I couldn't even ask people.
So how did you overcome those?
So first is I just forced myself to do it. I just read the script, and then some people, what's interesting is some people would just tell me, they wouldn't care. And so over time, we could reprogram our subconscious mind with our power of our words and from taking actions. So do what we fear most, and our fear will disappear. So we got two core emotions, love and fear. And so when I hypnotize somebody or go into a hypnotic trance, I literally eliminate the fear-based belief and replace it with a love-based belief, so that now we're freed up to just go do X, Y, Z, whatever that is, whatever they want, and whatever is going to suit them for their life and their job.
So how did you transfer into a motivational speaker?
Yeah, so at first I just went to help myself, right? Like I've just got all this money and I'm not happy.
To be happy.
Right, and so then I started taking these classes, and when I bought a whole slew, it was like $50,000 for these classes back 25 years ago, a long time ago. And I made lots of money, so I didn't care. So I bought all of it. So I was learning how to be a public speaker, how to, more real estate investing training, how to be a hypnotist, how to be a stage hypnotist, how to do one-on-one hypnotherapy sessions. And so as I learned all this and I did my first one-on-one hypnotherapy session, I actually, as a student with another student and another mentor helping us, as another class from somebody independently, that person, when I was in hypnosis, let me first preface this. Under hypnosis, under trance, people experience it a few different ways, usually one of three. One, they remember everything A to Z, or at least they think they do. Because I think I do. Do I know? I don't know. Well, I actually seen my video, so I actually do remember all that had happened. The difference is that I was okay with allowing what was happening to happen because I was trained very, very well. And so this person that was talking to me brought me back under trance. And I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, and they're bringing me through. There's a whole process. And I went back to a point in time because my dad wasn't around much when I was young at all. And so I went to a point in time, a very negative point in time with my dad, where I went out for Christmas with him. I wanted to win this prize. I didn't win the prize. I was one of those little billies where I just would pout. And so if you have a child that just does this and pouts, and you're barraging them with questions, they're thinking. And then you ask them another question, and now they're thinking about that question. And they're thinking, if I answer it this way, I'm going to get in trouble. And so if you have these little billies like me, by the way, let them breathe. Let them take a breath. And so what happened for me then is that my dad drove me home, and I was still pouting. I wasn't talking, and he's getting more frustrated with me, And so I lived in a project, so it's all row houses. And so he doesn't know which door is my door. He's like, this is where you live? So now I'm in my head as little Billy, and I think I was like 9, maybe 8.
So you were living with your mother?
I was living with my mom. Divorced. Yeah, my dad wasn't around much, So he just happened to come pick us up. And so he says to me, which house is yours? So then now I'm thinking, this guy is not around so much, he doesn't even know where I live. And I've been living here for years. And I'm like, this is how much he doesn't care about me, right? Story I'm making up. And then he starts getting more mad at me because he's trying to drop me off. He's getting mad. He's like, look, if you don't tell me which one of these doors this is, I'm going to call the police. Well, as a little boy, now your dad is supposed to love you. He's going to call the cops on you. So I run out of the car, run into the house because it was close. It was like a couple doors down. And I run in and I'm crying hysterically. Well, seems like something kind of insignificant, except we have 3 defining moments as children from 0 to 10 years old, where we all have a belief that we create, all of us, from our surrounding circles. We have 3 beliefs that run us to this day. and then we can be aware of them and start managing them, or they'll run us for the rest of our lives. So mine as little Billy was, this place ain't safe. I got to do it myself, and nobody cares about me.
And that's what you learned through hypnosis.
So I learned that with that trance session. So that was a thing called reframe. So I went to that point in time. She helped me reframe it. And I won't go into that details very long. But basically, it replaced that belief from those negative beliefs to a love belief. And so when I became fully aware, and this all took, I don't know, 45 minutes at most. When I became fully aware, I had flashcards flash before my face before I was fully awake. And I saw these pictures of times where I had negative thoughts about myself, bad thought, bad. I was a chicken, I was afraid, I was scared, and all this stuff. All of those reframed it something different because I had a new perspective on myself. And when I became fully aware, I literally felt like a different human being that fast and that quick.
And that led to telling others how they can improve
So
themselves.
when I saw the power of what that was, I said, the world needs to see this. And so I loved it, and I realized that's what I'm meant to do. I'm going to be a motivational speaker. I'm here to help people step into their greatness. I'm meant to help people heal themselves, and I'm here to help people start to figure out how to step into their greatness. What's your purpose? What you're for? Why are you here? Every single human being here is literally meant for something powerful. We're from royalty, right? We're a gift from God.
After 27 years, do you have a top 5 skills that are necessary to be a success as a motivational speaker?
Well, so you got to define first success. So I first got successful and I made $1 million. Great. That was okay. That was nice. That made me pay the bills. What I really gravitated to even further than success is significant. Before, I used to think that I was great and awesome, which is fine, but just braggadocious. If we say it, we have an ego. The difference now is I know I'm amazing, and I also know you are too, and I also know you are also.
How would somebody go about becoming a motivational speaker?
Great question.
How do you do it?
Yeah, so great question. So, well, I did it by default. I didn't know that's what I was supposed to do. I bought these courses, and next thing you know, I've realized, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to motivate. That felt good for me. I want that for other people. And so one, it's got to be a passion. That's just what they want to do. Like that's what they feel called to do, whatever reason why or whatever space that they're at. It's got to be a passion. It's got to be burning inside of you like it does for me. And almost all those motivational speakers I can think of, like it's literally I would do it for free. Literally, I would do it for free.
And number 2?
It's so amazing. So one is the passion and purpose. 2, you got to have a reason. You got to have a reason as to so motivating somebody is nothing more than you getting them so excited they do something different than they normally would do, or get them to take an action they normally couldn't get them to take an action on, even though they knew they wanted to take that action, whatever it is. And so if you want to be a motivational speaker, one, you got to be able to have that, and you don't have to be charismatic. Like I train students or speakers, and some of them are they're not me, and they try to be me. I'm like, don't be me. You're not me. Right. And so one that comes to mind is a CPA, right? And so they have a certain demeanor, an engineer, they have a certain demeanor, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're just not me. And if they go on stage and try to be me, it's still inauthentic. People can see it. And so if they're going to be a motivational speaker, one core thing I feel like has to happen is you got to have a story.
So that's number 3. So passion, reason, and now a story.
Yeah. What's your story? Like, so people like stories. So for me, I grew up, my mom, a single mom, didn't have any money, grew up poor, went out and got my own lawn. I got fired, right? That's my story. And then if I get into real estate, I have a track hoe story I get into.
You were also talking about your search for happiness, and you yourself, admittedly, were kind of an a-hole.
Oh yeah,
partier,
not kind of an a-hole. I was an a-hole.
What were some of the a-hole things you did?
Oh geez, I don't even want to admit that. Well, first, if anybody knew me 30 years ago, you know, when I first started speaking, if it was here around any area I knew, I would say, has anybody in here known me more than 5 years ago? And if one person put their hand up in a sea of 1,000, I didn't care. And I remember this one guy way in the back where I did it. I said, hey, I don't know who you are, because I can't see him. I said, I don't know if it was you or you saw me offend somebody. I'm sure I did. I want to first apologize for that and tell you that's not the person I am anymore. I've transformed tremendously. And please forgive me, and please listen to me from a different place.
So were you in this desire to be a personal motivational speaker? And I understand when I say that there's many aspects to that. Mm-hmm. Were you, for a long time, and maybe still are, trying to fix yourself?
Well, at the beginning of the search was, hey, yeah, I wanted to transform myself. People say fix, but there's nothing to fix. It's just to transform. See, when people say fix to me, I say, well, first off, there's got to be something broken. There's nothing broken. We're all operating perfectly the way the human mind is developed to create for us to be safe in the world. So that's not a brokenness, kind of like post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't like that name. The doctor should rename that. It's not a disorder. Somebody saw something horrible, right? And then because of that, their subconscious mind created a belief and a riff about that, which triggered a belief from their core beliefs from before, which has them act this way now. That's not a disorder. That's completely in order. What needs to happen is for somebody to see it from a different perspective and reframe that and have a different belief around that. Case in point, if somebody was in active military and they see one of their buddies get blown to pieces and die, that doesn't happen to me. Most people don't get to have to experience that, thank goodness. And yet when it does, and people say, well, I act differently about it. Well, geez, yeah, you probably should. And so now it's just a matter of what's the belief that has you feel that way. Because hypnosis is so powerful that you can help yourself be magnetically pulled to do the things you want to do once you reframe that belief. Well, this is just a belief on a subconscious mind that has seen this with what they call disorder. I don't. I think it's completely in order. Is that they say, hey, I feel this way. Some people, they feel guilty. Well, why did they die? I didn't. Why wasn't it me? Right? And you see all these unfortunate suicides going on because of that. And it's so heartbreaking for me. Please contact me. I'll help you for free. Those people.
So a passion, a reason, a story.
I believe a story should be there. Yeah. So,
okay. Of redemption, of change, or
transformation.
How you use these skills for yourself. And I want to give that to you. Is there more?
Yeah.
Or number 4?
So it depends. So let's talk about the speaking world, because we'll get to the business side of this a little bit. And so why would somebody come and pay you? So that's how you get the income side of it. So there's other times where somebody will, you pay them to go on their stage. And then usually that's for notoriety. So maybe it's a big stage. So case in point, when I went to speak at the O2 Arena in 16,000 seat room out there, they used me as a consultant in London to run that room, because I know how to run rooms very, very well. Well, they had people who paid them £100,000 for the privilege of getting on that stage to present to their 16,000 people in the hopes that they could resell them something, recoup their money, and build their database faster, quicker, and easier. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. You can pay to get on stage for notoriety and the upsell. And then there's another one where you could just go and sell a product and you split the profits. 10% if you're in a church, up to 50% depending on where you go. So there's different elements. So why do you want to be a motivational speaker? Most people get it because it's changed my life so profoundly. I know this is for other people and they should do it as well. Like I found the goods. It's like I figured it out and I want to run to the top of the hills and go, listen to me, man. It sucks where you are because I used to be there and I got to show you how not to be there anymore.
And that's the story.
Right. And that's the story.
And then exactly. 5, you want to transform people's lives.
You want other people to experience this new this new way, this new thing that's like just moved, inspired you so much. It's like, look, you can't even talk about it enough. Like you can't. What I love about a person who really has that, like myself, is that I'm endless. You could wake me up at 3 a.m. and I'm just with it. Let's go. Who needs some help?
You have a lot of energy.
Yeah. Well, I know I do. You see me on the pickleball courts too.
Yeah. So if I'm, like you said, the CPA without the energy, I love speaking.
Yeah.
I'm not wired to do anything else.
Yeah.
So I love trying cases. But what about that CPA? Like most people, their fear of death and taxes and public speaking.
Yeah.
I think it's number 2.
Yeah.
How do you transform them into getting rid of that fear?
Which fear?
Of public speaking.
Oh, cool. So I do it.
Because they've got a reason, they've got a great story, they've got a passion. This happened to me. I know I can change others' lives, but I'm scared as hell to get up on that stage. How do you change that?
I am going to literally give advice right now that people have literally paid me $5,000 for right now to those speakers already existing and about to. So that's called stage fright, just before they get on. Now, some people have been doing it for a while, and so it's still there, but it doesn't keep them stuck. Other people are like, man, I can't even get on there yet because that's there. And so this is the advice. This is it. The reason why people have that fear is they're making that conversation, that speech, what they're about to go do about them. The
What does that mean?
speaker. Meaning, I got on stage and I'm worried, is my zipper down? Am I going to make a mistake? Am I going to look bad? All that stuff about me. Well, when you really care about the audience and you have a message to share with them, you know it'll change their life profoundly, get rid of that crap. Let go of your ego and make mistakes in order to transform people's lives no matter what it is. It's about them, not you. And when I train people's speakers to do this, I literally help them in 5 minutes before they get on stage. Sometimes they'll call me and I'll do a clearing and they'll have that going on. I said, well, it's not about you. It's about them. Do you believe in what you're speaking about? Yes. Do you believe it'll transform their lives? Yes. Do you want to transform their lives? Yes. Will they be willing to make a big fool of yourself and get up there and do it? Which, by the way, that was another question. What's my biggest mistake I did on stage?
I believe I'm more a product of my mistakes than I tell my kids, you don't learn anything from success. Yeah. You learn everything from mistakes. And I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Have you made mistakes?
Yeah.
Big ones.
Well, yeah. So write this down. Mistakes are learning lessons. Fran Tarkenton taught me this. This is the guy who literally changed my life forever. I met him once at a conference. And he says, I give you all a license to make mistakes. Because when I was growing up in public school, I'm afraid to make a mistake. Can't make a mistake. You're going to look bad and all that type of stuff. And so when I teach people to go on stage and to get rid of that, don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes are learning lessons. They're necessary. So some of the mistakes that I made is I let my ego get in the way of my success.
What's an example of that?
For an example of that is I started talking cocky and I can do this and over-promising. I get on stage and I can do all this type of stuff.
Why did you think that about yourself?
Because I believed it. Right? So I really believed it.
And how did that change? Has that changed?
So the challenges that happened to help me shift, one of them, the first one was I was afraid to do my first stage hypnosis show, because you can get trained to go do a stage hypnosis show. But until you're live in front of strangers and you're enrolling them to come up on stage where they already know you're going to make a fool out of them, that's a heck of an enrollment conversation, right? So for all I know, they're going to be like, yeah, not me, get him or her. Or how's that whole thing going to go? One, there's the first fear. The second fear is once I do get them on stage, what if I'm going 3, 2, 1 and sleep? And they just look at me like, well, whatever, buddy. It's like live, all these fears.
So how did you overcome that?
So, do what you fear most and your fear will disappear. I literally did my first stage hypnosis show because I did an event and I said, okay, I told all my staff we're going to do a stage hypnosis show. I committed to doing it. The day came for this event and I said, we're not going to do it. We ran out of time. Excuse. The next time I said, okay, we're going to do it next time. Didn't do it again because they don't know what I'm going to do for the event. So I just didn't do it. Third time I was like, you know what? I got to take my own advice. So commit to doing something and then put something out there at stake. So this time when I did the event, I told everybody, you're coming in the day before because we're going to do a stage hypnosis. So I committed. I told all the students ahead of time.
You said something very important there. Something's at stake.
Something's at stake.
So that may be the root of the word mistake.
Oh, great.
What's at stake?
Yeah, so great. So we'll get back to the hypnosis. I committed to it. So what's at stake is my reputation. I told you all I'm going to do this. Now you know. Now I can't back out. Could I have backed out? Sure, I got a cold. I don't feel good. Could have made up more excuses, but I turned it up even more. Then could be more at stake is like I have people say, okay, you're going to commit to doing something? And they say, okay, great. So then we have an agreement. I have your credit card that if you don't do this by this date, then I get $1,000. You still agreement with that? Well, then now we see what's at stake, right? Okay, well, I had one person came to my seminar and he was a hoarder, self-admitted. And his wife's like, I want to clean this stupid garage. And he's like, well, I'm going to get it cleaned out. I said, by when? He goes, well, I should have stopped shooting on yourself. And so I finally said, okay, how about this point in time? He goes, okay. So you picked the date. It's about 30 days later. I said, okay, now you got to commit to it. And it would have something at stake. And he says, okay, what's it going to be? I said, so you commit to have it done at this time, or if you don't, you give your wife permission to order a container, a dumpster, and throw away whatever the heck she wants the next day.
And you agreed to that?
All of a sudden, he's like, whoa, wait. And all of a sudden, well, maybe not by that date. I said, okay, we'll pick a date. So he picked a date 30 days after that. I said, so now we're going to put it in writing, have her sign. And so you're going to do this by that date, or here's what happens. So when you have something at stake, it turns up the pain and offer the pleasure. Like, okay, well, you don't have to do it. I remember one time I told somebody I'd give him my $110,000 Jaguar if I didn't do this one thing, because fear keeps us stopped and stuck. And whenever I see something that I know I don't want to do because I'm afraid of it, I commit to doing it immediately. Most humans don't do that. And that's how you bring yourself to a whole new level. I told this one person, if I don't do this by this date, I will give you my $110,000 Jaguar that was paid off. Remember I told you about my Jag.
Uh-huh.
And Yeah, I did it. I was afraid, but it was that pain of losing my Jaguar was worse than what I committed to go do.
What is the mistake you made? The big
On stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a stage hypnosis show where I hypnotize a girl, make her believe she's made of a steel bar, put her across 2 supports from her ankles to her shoulders, and then I stand on her stomach, 100, almost 200 pounds, and she holds me. And then people are like, wow, I didn't believe in hypnosis until I saw that. Well, I did it this one time where I had a lady, and the people who were moving her up onto the supports jostled her in such a way, I saw her kind of come out of trance. But my ego was like, I can still pull this off anyway. Now, I knew I shouldn't have. So I go to step on her, she falls. Now, that's about as big a flop as you can get. You got a stage hypnosis. Everybody's like, yeah, that's great. Oh, laughing. So funny. And all of a sudden, I was like, whoa, talk about mud on your face, egg on your face.
So what did you learn from that?
So what was powerful about this is, one, just to own up to it, right? Most people can't just look at A lot of people just ignore it. Don't ignore it and it goes away. Ignore it and it'll go away is not a strategy. And I commit to never do that for sure. And so she falls. We get her up. Are you okay? Is your back okay? Like, the first thing is, are you okay? Second thing is I own up to, you know what? I owe you an apology. I saw that you slightly came out of trance, and I thought that it might be a possibility that would happen. In fact, probable would happen, but my own ego had me go through it anyways. And because of it, it cost you to fall down and this to happen, me look like an idiot. And I want to say, please forgive me. I apologize. And will you please forgive me? And I'm sorry about doing that. That's always clean it up. The whole audience went, Rebecca, that one. I had one guy come up to me that said, you changed my wife's life from doing that.
What about the hoarder? Did he?
Yeah, he did it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He got it done. Yeah, when you can turn up the pain and offer the pleasure, like, and so you can do this with whatever. So, okay. So I had a friend, but when I was in my 40s, I was overweight. I'll tell you about that. And so I had a friend who was religious with going to the gym, always going to the gym, 5 times a week minimum. I said, anytime that I'm in Jacksonville, that if I'm here in Jacksonville and you call me anytime and you say, I'm going to go to a gym, you're going to come work out with me, unless I'm physically can't get there for whatever reason, like a real good reason, like I'm doing a show like this or on stage or whatever. Like, but if I could get there, if I didn't go, I would give him $1,000 every time I didn't go to the gym with him.
How much did you pay him?
0. Okay. That's why I'm in shape. like that's seriously why it is.
Your fear was having to pay $1,000.
Well, it's not fear, but why am I going to waste it? Okay, get my butt to the gym, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'll write this one down, people. Small commitments lead to big commitments. And so sometimes you say, I don't really feel like going to the gym. Well, me neither. Why don't you just put your gym clothes on? Okay, well, I'll put my gym clothes on. Well, you got your gym clothes on. Why don't you just go to the gym? Go talk to somebody. Well, I went to the gym. I'm sitting there talking to them. Well, I might as well work out a little bit. Okay, we'll do a little bit. Well, I did a little bit, so why don't I just finish my workout? So that small commitments lead to big commitments. You can do that in all areas of your life.
You said something, I don't know if you recall, you probably say it all the time.
Yeah.
You said that guy was shooting on himself.
Stop you shooting don't shoot all
What's
over
that
yourself.
mean?
People say, I should do this, and I should do this, and I should do this, I should do this. Those are weak words. When in my seminar, I go through a whole list of words that you got to eliminate, because when you're programming, when you're speaking to yourself, when you say you and you are statements or I and I am statements, it's a program.
Can you give us
the words
of some of those words?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you the most popular ones. Okay, so first, so should have. Well, you shouldn't be doing this, and you shouldn't be doing that, and I should be doing this, and I should be doing that. That automatically is already giving yourself a reason, an excuse. I said I should, doesn't say I would. Get rid
All right.
of it. I will, just a commitment. 2, maybe. When I hire contractors, they say, well, maybe I'll get it done by, okay, now, when will you have it done? Well, I should have it now. When will you have it done? Right? So that type of stuff. And so it's just get rid of those wimp words, what I call. Next one is but. This is a big one, especially with sales. If you're in sales and somebody's talking to you about and they have an objection, and then you say, yeah, but, it negates everything they just said. And you literally put them in a space that they don't like.
Meaning the salesman says, yeah, but.
Yeah.
And what does that do to his approach or his ability to sell?
So it basically just negates. So you say, well, I got to talk to my wife, and yeah, but. Like, shut up. Who cares about that? And so that's what it feels like.
Yeah, to the person hearing that.
Right.
So don't say yeah, but.
Don't use the word but. Use and. I understand that and. Now when you're in agreement, you flow through it. Whereas a but is like a big comma. And it's amazing. Words are the most powerful things in the universe. Like, you have to watch the words.
That's what my wife says. She stay away from the but.
Yeah.
I guess that's different.
It's one time when you definitely don't want a big butt.
Cut.
She's like, that's getting edited. He's dead now. There's a belief created.
Are there other words?
Yeah. So maybe is a wimp word. Hopefully, right? Those are words.
Maybe. Why is maybe a wimp word?
So if you say to me, you want to play pickleball tomorrow? I say, well, maybe. I'm not committing to it.
And why is it a wimp word? Because
it's not a committal.
Okay.
Right? We're so used to using these words that don't serve us, especially, I hate to pick on the public school system, but that's where I learned it, from our society, is to kind of just give ourselves excuses.
So if someone uses a wimp word on you,
I know they're not committed to it.
So what do you do to change them?
Well, first off, that's not necessarily why I have to transform and change everybody. It's more of I want to be effective in communication and manage expectations now, because that's where relationships get off track. So when a contractor says, well, I should be able to get it done, or maybe I'll get it done. Well, I understand that, but when will you know you'll have it done? Okay, so we're going to put in a contract, you have it done by this date. In fact, I'll give you 2 more days to make sure it's done. So if you don't do that, then now it's going to cost you X money. That's going to come off turn up the pain and off the pleasure. Then all of a sudden they get very, okay, well, I know I can get it done by this date. Cool.
Any other wimp words?
So let's see, I had and, but, hopefully, try. Oh, I had a guy in a seminar one time. It was unbelievable how he used the word try in every single sentence. I said, okay, just sit up here and say these words, because I tell people you got to practice this. You're literally, it's like speaking English again. But
are you telling people to avoid using those words?
Don't use those words.
How about if a salesman's listening to you, are you telling them either not what to say, or if you hear that from a prospective client?
Great question, because you don't want to, as people learn personal development, understand this, they then try to go out and preach it too soon, and it comes back and smacks them in the face hard. So you don't want to be able to, well, you said try. No, don't do that. It's like an alert. Hey, they said try. So it's not like you say, well, and I used to, how do I know this? I used to do that. People would be talking to me, well, try means you're not committed. I want you to, right? And so they get, now they're frustrated, they're mad, now they don't even want to talk to me anymore. And a lot of people are afraid to just commit to stuff because they think a mistake is bad and wrong, not do that. And the reality of it is like, just commit to doing something. And when you're out of integrity, it didn't happen, just recommit again. That's it. If you really want to take this on powerfully and do it for yourself in your life, get somebody that's committed to doing it with you and teach them these certain words and just say, make me aware when I say that word, if I say that word. And you'll be amazed how many times you do it and don't even know it. Why does speaking it or faking it till you make it transfer to making it and becoming that success? Great. How does that happen? Great question. So it happens over time because of full awareness influence. Any I and I am statements are directed by the command on your subconscious mind. So you have to say it in the right frame. I only eat healthy. I am a non-smoker. I love my body. I am worthy. Whatever that is. I am a people money magnet. I love to have amazing relationships. I only create amazing relationships. People love to help me. Whatever the belief is. How many times must you say that to yourself? All day long. Every single time you have a negative thought. Every time you have a negative thought about yourself, speak it 5, 10 times. There's no end to it. When you have a negative thought about yourself, what do you do? Yeah, same my own advice. What's an example of where? I wake up in the morning. Every morning, whether I have because as soon as we wake up, sometimes we had a dream, sometimes we remember them, sometimes we don't. Every single morning, whether it's a positive or negative feeling that I have, right? I always say today's going to be an amazing day, full of abundance, full of awareness, full of opportunity, where I'm a people and money magnet. I love myself and I love others. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to grow and I'm going to love the process. Have you ever found someone that you could not motivate to be successful? Well, that's a double. So motivation is a temporary situation. I can motivate somebody right now and be like, yes, I'm going to go do that. And they walk out the door and it's gone. Right? So that's very easy because unless you reprogram and replace a belief that's keeping somebody stopped and stuck, if you don't replace that belief with a belief that keeps them energized and in action, it's not going to change. So, you'll just be excited for a while. Is it your belief that you need more than the personal motivation aspect? You need the next step, which is changing the belief with hypnosis. Well, it's not like hypnosis is a cure-all and that's it. If you don't do that, it's not going to work. No, I don't believe that. I know that not to be true. And if you have a belief that does have to be you have to replace the belief that's keeping you stopped and stuck, period, whatever it is. And sometimes the money. So I have a seminar called the Shift Event when I used to do events way back then. I'm going to start them back up again. I'm coming out of retirement because God's pulled me to come do that. So I'm doing that. So if you go look for me socially right now, I'm a dinosaur. Don't worry about it. I'm a rock star on stage, a dinosaur in line, and I'm about to fix all that and transform all that as well. And so what was the question?
That sounds like what I told my wife on my wedding night.
Okay. So I forgot the question. I'm sorry. Ask that again because it's a great question. I want to answer that.
Does a personal motivational speaker need hypnosis in their pocket to do a good job?
To be a motivational speaker or a student listen to a motivational speaker to have success?
To be the best motivational speaker.
Got it.
Must you hypnotize the people listening to you?
Well, so a motivational speaker is anyone that has someone else elevated to an excitable level that has them at least feeling, if not taking new action, feeling like taking new actions. The challenge with just being motivated is it's always short-lived. Until that belief is replaced, that's keeping them stopped and stuck before. And sometimes it's just by doing the fear-based conversation. Case in point. So does it have to be hypnosis? No. Commit to do what you fear most and your fear will disappear. Right? So people say I should quit smoking. Well, why don't I? Well, you got a million excuses. They're all fear-based conversations. Just stop. Well, but then I'm going to feel this. I'm going to feel that. Well, okay, we'll have some discipline, right? I went through a military boot camp. Well, there's a difference person that has gone through a military boot camp who hasn't. I'm not saying one's better or not, but you learn discipline, et cetera. I know you know the same thing I'm talking about. And so it's just a matter of committing to something and then following through no matter how uncomfortable that gets. And that evokes transformation because then that's transformation. So in motivation and transformation, motivation is fine short term. Transformation on a subconscious level is what will sustain for years and forever.
If you meet a student that needs to be hypnotized or even has requested it, but fights you, can you
resist me?
Yeah. Can you beat their resistance?
Yeah.
I mean, can you make someone be hypnotized against their will?
Okay, well, so the short answer is yes, you can, and some governments do.
Okay.
So I don't, and so I only want to help people who want help. And so could I help you? I've had people come on stage with me and said, "I've never been hypnotized. You can't hypnise me." Great. Well, just go through the process, see what happens. Mm-hmm. Be open to it.
Okay.
And I've had big, huge football player, dude, literally an ex-pro football player, big guy on stage, doing all kinds of silly stuff. He couldn't believe that he saw the video later on, couldn't even believe he was doing it.
What is the strangest problem someone's hired you to solve through hypnosis?
Yeah. Okay. So this person might.
No names.
I'm not going to. Well. So here's the thing. I have a moral compass, and so this person wanted to hire me to hypnotize them to do something, and I refused to do it because it just was against my moral compass. Okay, so for me as a hypnotist, it's important for me to leave somebody always better off than with like a doctor to do no harm. With this person wanting what he wanted, I felt like it would have done him harm. He wanted to be more sensitive to a certain situation during sexual acts. and so I'm trying to do this PG, and I felt like that's just enabling him with that situation. And it's not really.
So he was already personally motivated.
He was highly motivated in that area. He wanted more of it. And by the way, it wasn't a medical challenge he was having, because that I would do.
What's a red flag, speaking of that you see in students that tells you I'm not going to help them?
Well, so so there's been many. I've handed a student back a $30,000 check for a one-on-one consultation with me. Literally a week after she gave it to me, I said, "Nah, you're not. You're gonna." So the reason why I did that, and it was you're making me think of a lot of them, a few of them that I just won't. So one is if I feel like that person with money is going to make the world a worse place, I won't help them be rich. Most people want to be rich, and I think as long as they make $1 million, it'll fix stuff. It doesn't. And so if I feel like they're going to be bad intentions when they get the money and they're not receptible to transformation or not open to having me mentor and coach them to really be a better person inside authentically, then I won't work with that person because I just don't want them to do harm to the world.
Is that because of their expectations of you or of their goals with the success that you treat them.
Because
you,
of the
you
way
teach them.
because of the way they are being now in a moment. Because who you are now is who you'll be then amplified.
But aren't you changing them with hypnosis or changing their belief system?
Well, that's what you said, to be successful, right? So that's just making success. I'm going to category as money only.
Okay.
Right. And so if you said, well, would you work with this person to help them overcome that? Look, I know I want to kill people. Well, yeah, that's when I'd help. Right. Sure. Let's get you some help. But if it's somebody who just wants to get rich, and that's what typically it is, and I know for a fact that they are not really a great person now, it's only going to be worse later. And I won't allow that. I won't help that.
What is a promise that motivational speakers should never make to a student?
Well, so when you're saying motivational speaker and hypnotist, because we talk a lot about hypnosis here, there's a huge difference. And so a mistake that a motivational speaker, so I'm assuming it's going to be a person from stage. Well, over-promising and under-delivering. All of my events, I say, you come to the event. If you don't think it was worth it, I give you your money back. Like, I don't know anybody who does that. Come to all 3 days. I had one guy who said he wanted to get his money back ahead of time. I said, no, it's conditional guarantee. Come to all 3 days of my shift event. I told him, come there with your arms folded all 3 days.
What does that mean, arms folded?
Like resist, fight, but like just sit there for 3 days. Like, nope, I'm here for my money back.
If we fold our arms,
that's a resistance. Yeah. So when you talk, I'm so highly trained in personal development. I can watch people's mannerisms on TV and not even have the volume up, and I can tell what they're thinking and feeling and being and doing.
And that means they're resisting what you have to say.
Yeah.
So you told them, come to all 3 days, and if you do, I'll give you your money back.
Come to all 3 days. At the end, ask for your money back. The guy came to all 3 days. At the end, he stood up, and I got it on camera. He says, not only Will would not give me a refund. He said, I'm so thankful he didn't, because he changed my life so profoundly in these 3 days. On top of that, I spent another $15,000 while I'm here to continue my education with him. Thank you for not giving my money back.
And must a student do that to keep what you teach them in their head and change their belief system?
Do that meaning what? Spend more money?
Spend more money?
No.
What must they do to hold on to what you teach them?
Oh, great. So when I teach, so if we're talking about the shift events, I teach personal development, and I teach hypnosis and conscious mind, subconscious mind, how to reprogram ourselves. And I also teach public speaker training, and I also teach real estate investing training. So I have the different types. If we're going to talk about personal development only and change a belief structure, well, will that stay long term? So if I say I did a hypnosis session, well, first thing, when I trained in a shift event, I teach people, I program them how to reprogram. I literally do a whole trance session with the whole audience. But I also teach them how to do self-hypnosis and how to do full awareness influence with other people and hypnotize other people as well if they want to, which is why I will not let some people, it's very powerful stuff. If used in the wrong way, can go very ugly and wrong very quickly. And so if you program somebody and do a hypnosis session, how long will that take? And how long will it stay? And will it stay forever? The answer is yes, it will stay forever if you manage it. It's kind of like a garden. If you keep it fed and you keep it going, but if I go and do if I reprogram somebody's subconscious mind and say it's a relationship situation. We all have beliefs around relationship. He does this and she does that, and men always do this and women always do that. Those are beliefs. Those are strong embedded beliefs, usually from young childhood, because of what they saw and felt and experienced. And so if you reprogram that, where right now they transform, then it could be undone. How? By the power of our words. We're all hypnotists. It's not just me. I've just been trained how to use my words. People are using their words like it doesn't matter. It's a revolver. When people talk to me, when they say you and you are statements, I'm inside my head saying, that's not my belief. That's their belief. I'm not taking that belief because I don't want to get reprogrammed, because you could and you are.
What have you learned about human nature that most people would rather not admit is true?
I don't know if most people would rather not admit it was true. I would think most people would probably not agree with what I'm about to say, is that we are all very much very similar. We are so alike as humans. It's unbelievable. Like that kind of, when I first did a stage hypnosis show in London, I thought, well, did they have this similar belief? I don't know. And it was unbelievable how the similarities everywhere I went. We all have the same things going on. We all have the same beliefs or the same things that are going on. They've been crafted a little bit differently. My dad wasn't there. My dad beat me. I had like these things. I've been sexual, whatever that is, what people went through. They can hang on to that for life, or they can reprogram it, reframe it, have it something different. So it empowers them rather than disempower them.
Let me ask you this way, because I want insights into the industry. How do you spot someone that's not there for the students, but is there as a charlatan is only there for the money?
So there can be somebody there that's just for the money. And there are. My first guru was. He was there about the money. Like if you got successful, that's cool too. But
What do you mean your first guru?
my first mentor that taught me something.
So you've had mentors all along?
Mentors and coaches and gurus and books and tapes and courses.
Tell me
and
something
seminars.
about the mentor-student relationship.
Okay. When you have a mentor and a coach, that person, if it's one or one-on group, is going to be a very different thing. If it's a one-on-one, then that's very intimate. That's very, I'm really going to see inside what's actually happening. In fact, I have a call with one of my students tomorrow, which you got to look at. Does what they are selling you or having you or offering you or enrolling you to do going to benefit you or not?
Is a mentor-student relationship important to someone's development, a personal motivational speaker?
Of course. So I mean, the most famous athletes in the world have coaches and mentors one-on-one, right? So is one-on-one's better? It's usually more expensive, right? Compared to a one-on group. You can still get great benefits from it, but if you really want to go from here to there faster, then hire that mentor or coach to help you get there, who's already trained and could get you there.
You were talking about one of your mentors that you got insight as to what their motivation is.
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen where you have a one-on-one session with them and it turns out they're not as great as what drew you to them in the first place?
Well, so when I heard the first person, this is the first person, right? So I'm not going to name names. The person will probably, some people may figure it out as they know me. So I'm not going to name names, but I ended up ultimately going to work for that person. So I really got to see behind the scenes. And it's not that that person was like this charlatan, because he really believed, and he did have successful students, and I was one of them. And so whether a person's successful based on what you give them is entirely up to them. So it's not like it's on me. I'm a hypnotist and I could pre-program your subconscious mind. I could do a one-on-one hypnotherapy session, but you got to manage that. If I have you believing a certain thing and then you go out and start saying I and I am statements to counteract all that, it will revert back. And so when you see behind the scenes, to answer your question more deeply is, to me, it don't matter. Like when I saw him speak, I knew he was about the money. I knew I didn't like him. I thought he's kind of an a-hole, but he said he can teach me to do this, and to get me rich. Fine.
So what is a red flag for a student thinking of hiring a motivational speaker that they have to look out for, that it's just not just hype?
It's a very, very, very good, and quite frankly, it's the type of a question that anybody would have naturally. How do I know you have my best interest at hand? And so one is, it's a gut feeling. That's one. Two is, did it have a track record? Did it have people, they have thousands of students, they have a couple students, they have one student. Do they have a money back guarantee? So bad intentions, meaning, or a charlatan, meaning somebody's trying to dupe you or take advantage of you. I don't know of any motivational speaker that does that. Do I know motivational speakers who would sell you something and care or not? Yeah. And what I see for the most part, and I've been around lots and lots and lots of them, you may not like them. That's why I say don't meet your mentors. You may not like who they are. A lot of them are not walking the walk. So when you see them off stage, they're not doing what they're telling you to do. But if
you see that in the industry?
I do see that in the industry. I have seen it.
And it sounds like you're pragmatic. You said you saw that mentor, he's good at what he does, but he was an a-hole as a person. So you said, well, I'm just here to learn.
Yeah, I'm not here to learn
take what he has to give.
I'm not here to learn how to be a human from him
mm-hmm.
and win friends from him. I'm here to learn a craft from him. And if I can learn that craft from him, that I personally can see. But now a lot of people won't and can't.
What's a promise motivational speakers should never make to their students?
Well, so that's an easy one. I mean, they should never guarantee any results from that other person taking actions, because they're not in direct, unless they're going to partner with them on something, then I can. But even then you can't, because you can't promise somebody's results when they are 100% in charge of whether they do something or not.
What is your personal belief as far as when you see a person's type of success? What is that success that they must show you to know that you've done the job?
Well, so whatever, if it's a one-on-one, it's did I achieve what it is that they said that they wanted from the beginning. And so that could be money, that could be relationships. I've saved many marriages, even when I've done real estate, because this is who I am. I love people and I want to help people.
If someone's not getting your advice for free, let's say they pay you $10,000,
mm-hmm.
what should they realistically expect from you? or any motivational speaker?
Well, so for me, so I like.
Is that a form of coaching? Does someone hire you to coach them?
Yeah, I do one-on-one coachings. That's what my colleague.
So what should they expect?
I have a hypnotherapy session tomorrow. Like, I am here to bring you to a whole new level that you dreamed about and didn't think was possible to achieve that. If I get you close, if I get halfway there, people are like, yeah, that was good enough. And so I've had people that literally 3 times their income within a couple of months from just coming to my 3-day seminar, right? And so that's a profound jump. And that was somebody who was already doing well, and they 3 times that. I've had people fly to me with their private jets right here at the airport and do a one-on-one coaching session with me and go out and make $4 million more next year. So if it's monetarily, if you gave me $10,000, then I expect you to make $100,000 off of my information.
Wow.
Now that's worth it, right? That's the results.
What advice would you give away for free that others charge for?
I'm already doing it right now. So a couple things. One, I'm going to pass this on. This is what my first guru shared with me. Do what most people won't do for 5 years. Do what most people won't do for 5 years. And for the rest of your life, do what most people can't do. And so that takes some discipline, and that takes some commitment. And so that takes buying education. That takes doing things. Okay, so then here's the second one, right? So do what you fear most, and your fear will disappear about whatever that is. And then third, in order for things to change, you must change, right? So if you have this and you want to go here, you can't get there without you being a different human, being a different person, taking different actions. And so in order for things to change, you must change. So add those 3 together. And then on top of that, you got to come up with what do you want? Like, so the thing is, if you want better relationships, well, you have to commit to being a better communicator. You have to commit to thinking about the other person's point of view. And so in order for things to change, you must change. So I'm constantly working on my communication skills in relationships, with my personal relationships, new relationships, and friendship relationships and growing relationships. Like now when I go out into the world, I am constantly looking at how can I massively improve someone else's life, including strangers, especially strangers. Like, how do I leave them so touched, moved, and inspired that this moment causes a rift for the rest of their life? That's what I can say about motivational speakers. Motivational speakers will have you feeling fantastic for an hour or so. And if they can convey something that has you so motivated that you commit to time and money to take that path that you've been dreaming about forever, that's the great motivational speaker.
What are your goals today?
My goal is to touch, move, and inspire as many people as I can, to help heal them, whatever way that looks like, and then help them step into their greatness, find their purpose, and help them monetize what they love to do. Like, I want to be the guy they say, hey, you know what? Because of Willpower Duquette's existence, he transformed my life, my family's life, my future generations' lives forever. Because that's what I'm meant to do. I don't want money. Money's fine. I want to continue what I know to me to be which is significant. I want other people to be amazing at who they are, and rising tide raises all boats, and that's the way it goes.
The big buzzword today, or buzzwords, is AI.
Yeah.
People's new fear, on top of everything else, is that they will lose their job, their lives, their lifestyle to this coming alien invasion. I call it AI.
Right.
Alien. What would you say to them? And how would you handle that fear, either through words or hypnosis?
So first, I'd say, if you lost your job because of AI, congratulations. And most people ain't going to take that as a good thing. I was bartending and I got fired for calling in with walking pneumonia with a doctor's excuse. So I was finally sick and tired of being sick and tired enough for I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to look for a job. I am going to go out and take this time and go start my own business. I went out and started doing my own lawn care service. A year and a half later, I went out and did real estate investing, and then I became a millionaire. Well, I went back to that same bar where they fired me. And I said, do you remember me? And she says, oh yeah, I remember you. I fired you. She loved firing people. I said, yes. And I want to thank you. And I put out my hand. I said, you pissed me off enough to motivate me enough to do whatever it took to never have to work and rely on another employer for income again. And I haven't since. And now I'm a millionaire because of you. Can I buy you a drink? And she did not like it. She didn't take my drink.
So you're saying they should take it more positively if they're about to lose or do lose their job?
I think you should take everything positively. All things happen for a purpose and it serves us. Lessons keep getting harder until we learn them. There's another one. All right. So what does that mean? And so, look, the universe is always working for you. right? Like God is good in the universe, conscious mind, wherever you want to believe the power is, it's all working for you. And the difference is that if your life is not showing up the way you want it to be, it's because of the actions you're taking and the words you're speaking and the people you're hanging out with. So in order for that to change, you must change. You have to start looking in that mirror authentically. Michael Jackson's song, and start with the man in the mirror. And authentically and say, okay, where am I going to be vulnerable enough? Especially alpha males like I am and used to be even worse. And I say worse meaning a bad thing is that, I can do it myself and I don't need nobody to help me and I'm just going to trudge through it. And the reality of it is I learned to be more authentic and ask for help as a male, which we're taught not to do. So do it ourselves. What I learned is the more willing I am to be vulnerable, the more powerful I have become and inspiring I've been for other people. Every single breakdown is an access to a breakthrough. And I say access, it doesn't automatically happen. It means you have a breakdown. We have these proverbial brick walls we keep hitting. Well, when we transform that breakdown into a breakthrough, meaning you learn the lesson. All things happen for a purpose and it serves us. The lessons keep getting harder until we learn them. Once you learn that lesson, that wall's gone forever. It doesn't come back. It doesn't run you anymore. So now you find another one and then another one and you keep going up.
And you know what? All we need is willpower.
That's all you need is willpower.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. It was my pleasure. So I have a friend that's really good in AI, and he wants to take AI and have it be married with me doing personal development. And so I thought about doing something like, emotional intelligence.
No, AI
stands
for authentic.
Authentic intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Nobody else is saying that.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of AI.
And so
it's the opposite of authenticity.
So
you preach being authentic to yourself.
Yep.
What's happening is we're not connecting to who we are. And now we're going, hey, could you do all the work that I'm supposed to, all the heavy lifting I'm supposed to do? So what's going to happen is after the explosion happens, anything that is done by a person will be phenomenally expensive because it will be authentic. So you can transform and get ready now by turning AI into authentic intelligence.
So you think that's a good marriage and a good fit to do?
Oh,
he wants to do it together. When he first said to me, I was like, "How's that going to go together?" And so, good.
Yeah, it's how you shape the message.
Yeah,
but replace that word. Like I jokingly said at the beginning of the interview, to me, AI is alien invasion, and it's coming, and we're letting them come out of the ground, and it's taking over our thinking power. We're going to stop thinking eventually. A lot of people misuse AI for what champagne should I buy, like a Google search, this powerful thing. What cologne should I wear? Hey, my girlfriend's really mad at me. What are some words I should use to get her back? That's not how AI should be used, but that's generally how it's going to be.
They have apps like that where a guy can text somebody and they'll take that
and
AI
so the brain is a muscle, man. The less you use it, it's a tool. Use it as a tool. Use it as to lift heavier, but we're using it all the wrong way. So, but authenticity is the way to go.
I like that. Authenticity.
What do I know? I'm speaking to a camera. What do I know?
Authentic intelligence.
Yes,
I can
have that. And all I need is 25 cents every time you use it. That's it. All right, I'm done. You're great. I want to go do something now.
Are you motivated?
I am highly motivated.
Highly motivated drill sergeant.
We're doing a live Q&A tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Where?
Here. Well, I'm not sure where, but what I do is
on YouTube, on social media.
It gets bigger and bigger every time.
He answers them.
Oh, nice.
That's my main channel.
Nice.
This is the thing I'm starting. I'm shrinking now. This is the main thing I'm doing. So depending on which camera I'm using, if I'm on my main channel, it's those cameras. If I'm doing something with you or someone like you, it's the expensive cameras, the good stuff. So
got it.
I'm learning as I go, but the minute you start doing it is when you start learning. And like you said, make mistakes. And I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. Like the doors open?
You didn't like the doors open?
People going in and out of the bathroom.
I think that's brilliant.
You can hear a flushing toilet?
Yes, I heard it from over there.
I didn't hear it. No. Well, that's subliminal. People can be thinking, this hypnotist is full of
No, you can't. All right, I'm walking you out.
Okay.
That way go do a little bit of work.
Oh, my pickleball legs are like, ooh. I definitely got a little bit warm, but when I yeah, me too. But when I go on stage,